Before I start the video, I do love Giga coasters like any other roller coaster. They're big and fast, and Fury 325 is one of my favorite coasters ever. But I feel like coaster enthusiasts have like a thing for Gigas, especially when a park announces a new ride, it always has to be a Giga. And I always thought that was confusing because I feel like there was other coaster types that you can go for other than just a Giga coaster. So in this video, I go out for a walk and I talk about the 3 reasons why I think Giga coasters are overrated. All right, we have made it to our destination and there's not much light, so we gotta do this video now. All right, reason number 1. They're just too goddamn costly, especially with how things are rising in cost now these days. I'm pretty sure metal is like super expensive now, and I don't see a park making that huge of an investment for a new ride anytime soon. And especially with 2024, well, I know 2023 and 2024 was kind of like the year of the family coasters, but it kind of makes sense because it kind of served 2 purposes, right? The first purpose is that, you know, a lot of these parks where these coasters are going, they kind of needed it. Like a lot of coasters, I mean, a lot of parks in the past have been focusing on thrill rides, so it's good that the family also has something, to enjoy as well. Another reason is just cost effective. It's definitely cheaper to purchase a family coaster versus a 300-foot Giga coaster. Part 2 of that reason is because not only that it's expensive to make, but they also take a lot of space. You know what I'm saying? In order for you to do a Giga coaster, you definitely got to be creative with the space that you have. And I don't think a lot of parks have the space or the appropriate space necessary to incorporate a Giga. Now, my home park is Busch Gardens, Tampa, and yeah, they definitely can fit a Giga coaster if they want to. But the question is it viable for the park to do so? I don't know. I'm not sure about that. I figured they'll make a smarter decision going with a different type of coaster other than a Giga coaster, because again, inflation has gone up and things are just costing more, so it just would not make sense financially for a company to really invest in the Giga. Now, the newly Six Flags can probably do this. Now they have the funds to do so because they literally just gave Cedar Point a roller coaster, another roller coaster, because of some perilous mess ups. But you never know. I'm not saying that a Giga won't happen, but I don't think it's going to happen anytime soon. All right, reason number 2 why I think Giga coasters are overrated. You're pretty much limited on what you can do on a Giga coaster versus like a different type of roller coaster. For instance, think about all of the Giga coasters that's out there right now. For instance, all the B&M Giga coasters, you got Millennium Force, you got I-305. All of them are mostly about speed and maybe some airtime hills and fast bank turns. But it shows that the higher you go, I feel like the more limited you are when it comes to different elements. Now, I could be proven wrong, because I know in the 200 feet category, all we had were like B&M Hypers and Morgan Hypers, and all they did was just do air times and turns until RMC came and they did they made Iron Gwazi, they made Zadra, and they showed that you can do a lot with 200 feet. So maybe RMC could surprise me and do something with the 300-foot coaster. Who knows? I know they got the T-Rex model. Who knows what RMC can do with that height? But as for now, it's pretty limited. Honestly, I feel like you can do a lot more with less height. I think something around the 200 feet, 250 foot range. I think that's fine enough. You can do a lot of things with that. You don't need to do 300 feet. And there's so many other coasters that can do the same thing with less track. Like a launch coaster, you can get a launch coaster fast enough to get to that speed and do all the turns and stuff without having to incorporate a super tall hill. So there's a lot of things parks can do to incorporate the thrills of a Giga without actually having to get one. All right, before I get to number 3, if you're enjoying this type of video, make sure you like and consider subscribing to Coasters and Travels. It's free, doesn't take much to do, and your support is appreciated. Whew, who knew walking and talking on camera can break a sweat? But I'm getting my steps in, so it's good. Exercise is good, people. Make sure you get your steps in every day. All right, I had to take a break because walking and talking is hard. But the number 3 reason why I think Giga coasters are overrated, I think the concept itself is just outdated. It's like, okay,
At one point, there was a coaster wars, and people were fighting to get the biggest, the fastest, the tallest coasters or whatnot. But I think we're past that, and I think it's more about having variety over, like, I call them one-trick ponies. Like, for instance, I would call a B&M Hyper a one-trick pony because all they do is focus on airtime hills. Like rides that only focus on one thing. I think those, I think those type of coasters are a thing of the past. Coaster manufacturers like RMC and Intamin are showing like you can do a variety, have a coaster with a variety of elements, and you know, still be fun. Like having rides with inversions and airtime, that's awesome in my opinion. Like rides like Velocicoaster, rides like Iron Gwazi, I feel like they're the next level of roller coasters, you know what I'm saying? And I feel like you can do a lot more with those type of coasters versus like a Giga coaster. Giga coaster is like a thing in the past in my opinion. I feel like we should move away from them. I'm not saying we should stop building them, but I feel like there's other coaster types that we should look out for more, if that makes sense. Honestly, I got a bonus reason why I think Giga coasters are overrated. I don't think it will appeal to a lot of people. For instance, let's look at I-305. To me, that's like the big example of a Giga coaster failing to appeal to the general public. That ride was deemed super intense, and it just wasn't that well liked by the GP, to the point where they had to reprofile the first turn because it was just way too intense. People were reporting blacking out and stuff, and graying out. I also don't think Gigas they provide a good return on investment, as far as like at least the first couple of years, because I don't think too many people will want to, especially if you're a general public that doesn't really ride roller coasters. If you see like a 300-foot tall coaster, you're not riding that. You'd rather ride something like Velocicoaster than a 300-foot coaster. So it's more smart for a park to invest in rides that not everybody will ride, but the majority of people will enjoy. You know what I'm saying? It has to have just enough of level of intensity for the to satisfy the enthusiasts, but not too intense that the GP will be scared of. So it has to strike a balance. And Giga coasters, I mean, I'm pretty sure I don't think there's a Giga coaster out there that's not going to be intense and fast, because the whole point of a Giga coaster is speed. So besides that, like I said, people are not going to get on it mainly because of the height and whatnot. All right, I'm back home. It got dark, so I had to finish in my room. That's pretty much my thoughts about Giga coasters. Tell me what you think. Do you feel like they're overrated? Do you agree or disagree with any of my reasoning? Let me know in the comments below, and I'll see you next time. Take care.